I don't know why I'm not subbed on this channel, but I'm like, apparently people are starting, like, people with histories of DEI are starting to get rejected from places of employment, which is wild to think about. And frankly, I mean, that's just, I mean, it's honestly like Sweet Baby Inc.'s fault. Let's be real. They just gave DEI a very bad name.
Hey guys,
For
we've
the
got
way
a
that they're
very
acting.
interesting update here regarding DEI firms like Sweet Baby Inc. As it's being reported that gaming companies are essentially starting to reject working with these sort of corrupt individuals. Once again at that Park Place, they report former Sweet Baby Inc. employee implies developers did not want to hire him after working for Kim Belair's company. And so the article kicks off with a very short recap here. Just take a moment to go over the recap and it'll be sure that everyone here is in the loop. And then we'll get right to that new stuff. They say a former Sweet Baby Inc. employee, Kazuma Hashimoto, that being the person from yesterday's video, well, they've revealed that developers did not want to hire him because he worked for the video game consultancy. And so here's the recap portion that'll take literally about 30 seconds. They say, Hashimoto was recently featured in an article written by Zachary Small at the New York Times, where he claimed that Japanese people were not upset about Assassin's Creed Shadows and claimed that much of the pushback against the game and one of its main characters, Yasuke, was being done by Westerners using translators.
Oh! Well, yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't want to hire you either. If this is true, then not only are you a liar, but you're also a very bad journalist because you're pushing a false narrative. Like you could BS all you want, but when there's actually literally Japanese YouTubers making videos, making fun of your trailers and talking about everything they're upset about, which we're gonna watch later on. It's called Japanese YouTuber hyper analyzes Assassin's Creed Shadows trailer. Yeah, this is just a lie. Bare minimum, it's a lie. It's like in the best case scenario, it means that you suck at your job as a journalist and you can't even report the truth. In the worst of cases, you are actively lying to the New York Times and ruining their reputation as a reliable source.
Times, where he claimed that Japanese people were not upset about Assassin's Creed Shadows and claimed that much of the pushback against the game and one of its main characters, Yasuke, was being done by Westerners using translators. He told the New York Times, "It was people in the West who were upset with seeing Yasuke as a samurai. Many of the negative online comments written in Japanese appeared to have been roughly translated from English." After that quote from Hashimoto, they write that in a recent Twitch stream discovered by YouTuber SmashJT, Hashimoto provided more details about the New York Times, saying, "A couple of months ago, the New York Times actually got in touch with me to ask me about Assassin's Creed, in which I was like, yeah, reception's honestly like kind of positive." That's got to be the most loosely defined kind of positive I've ever seen. Like, what a stretch. I even made a video like a month ago where a data collection company—
I don't think I have heard a single human being outside of people who are actively working for DEI or are activists be happy about. I don't think anybody has been happy about this game. Like, anyone.
had took a bunch of information from
Not
the internet
one nice
and come
thing
to
to
the
say about it.
conclusion that the majority of public reception for Assassin's Creed Shadows across various social media platforms is vastly negative. Anyways, I just had to comment on that real quick because what an absurd thing to say. What a stretch. Continuing. And a lot of the comments you'd see under videos were like—
And again, I have to be entirely fair here with everyone. Assassin's Creed, like, Origins and up, I did not play. I got so freaking bored of the games. I got so bored of Assassin's Creed. The one in London, the British one, that one was pretty dope. Origins was boring. Valhalla and Assassin's Creed Odyssey didn't really pique my interest at all. It just seemed like I saw a little bit of the trailer and it seemed boring and it seemed like the writing was stupid. I hated it. It didn't feel like it was like good.
Like straight up,
so
like,
I just
Google
didn't play it.
Translate
I
comments,
might play
which
it
is
someday. I
pretty
might be
obvious.
wrong about Valhalla.
However,
Everyone talks good about Valhalla.
Even noted how annoyed Japanese people are with certain
and I frankly
aspects of the
love
game.
Greek mythology, so Odyssey might be a good game to play. But I just was so bored. I was so done with the series at that point. The story was always boring as all get out. I got sick and tired of the whole, like, in the past, but also in the modern day. But the modern day story, it was kind of good, but then it got bad, and now it's just like I don't even know what the modern day story is with Desmond and all that. It's just stupid. I'm done. Like it's just like they don't even know what they're doing with it at this point.
Game saying, And like people are like annoyed
It's more
with some of the
confusing than the Saw
inconsistencies and issues
franchise
with shadows,
freaking story.
which is like the buildings and stuff being wrong, or certain clothing and whatnot, right? Or the fact that the art team basically stole a sign from a reenactment troupe in Japan. And that's actually like pretty common, because when you're working with such a large team of artists, well, sometimes they're sort of given the direction to Google things, and then people make mistakes, he elaborated.
Yeah, that's the problem. How about you don't just Google things? How about you hire someone who actually understands the culture?
It's more like you're working with a team of people that speak multiple different languages, and whether or not they can communicate with each other is an issue. And that's just become part of game development. Oh yeah, you know how Ubisoft basically stole that whole design from the Sekigahara Rifle Corps? Well, that's just a part of game development. That's all that is. It really comes off like this dude's trying to say that people in Japan are just mad at nothing. That none of the stuff that Ubisoft has done is a big deal at all. It's just normal game development stuff. Later in the stream.
These are the people, by the way. These are the people saying that they want to defend inclusivity. These are the people that say they want to like bring more diversity. Yet look at how much they disrespect the Japanese culture. They don't give a rat's butt cheek, bro.
Hashimoto claimed that he did not work on Assassin's Creed Shadows. He said, I can say that I didn't do any consultation work on Assassin's Creed Shadows. The stuff I did with Sweet Baby, I will probably never be able to talk about just because of the way that game development works. So yeah, it's really, really weird. I have a feeling that I'm going to get blamed for changes and decisions made on a game that I worked on that weren't even like, that I didn't even know about or wasn't even aware of or not even part of. Because when you're a consultant, they just kind of pull you in and they ask you for like suggestions, or whether or not those suggestions are actually taken up is up to the director. People don't understand how much power a director and producer have in a studio.
What? When you're the consultant, it's your job to know these things. You don't give a suggestion that would be bad. That's why you're the consultant. I love how he's trying so badly to be like, listen. It's not my fault that they consulted me, okay, and I gave them bad information. It's the director's fault for accepting my bad information.
Studio, and whether or not they will facilitate those changes. Still, later in the stream, Hashimoto revealed that developers didn't want to hire him given he was a former Sweet Baby Inc. employee. He said, there are definitely jobs that I've had where, like, people have seen, like, the fact that I worked for Sweet Baby, and it's been a year since I've worked with them, and it's just like a contractual basis when I was so just like periodically for like a couple of years. Okay, side note, my gosh, the amount of times I've had to read like in this video starting to drive me a little crazy. Anyways, continuing. People.
It's starting to like drive me a little like crazy, like really bad.
Will literally be like, hey, are we going to get harassed for hiring you? And I think that really sucks. That instead of like, we'll protect our employee.
Yeah, he talks like someone from here in California, I'll be honest with you.
The employer or the potential person giving you the contract will be more concerned about that than protecting their employees. Kinda messed up. Okay, let's pause for a second. So we do know that there's some game companies out there that do hire consultancy firms when they're trying to make these weird modern audience sort of games. Two recent examples being Dustborn and Concord, and we saw how those games went. However, for gaming companies that don't want their games to be astronomical failures, well, they're probably starting to see that these sort of modern audience games and these bizarro consultation firms are only going to be a massive liability. So to me, it's more likely that when they see someone like Hashimoto and they see their affiliation with Sweet Baby Inc., they simply think, well, we don't want anyone like that working at our company. Return to the article. They say, interestingly, those claims by Hashimoto appeared to contradict Kim Belair's recent comments during an appearance on the Black Girl Gamers YouTube channel. She said, I think annoying is a very good word for it because largely it doesn't materially affect our work. The vast majority of these companies already know what's going on and they still hire us.
The thing is that they're all just huffing copium. They're lying to themselves to try to make it seem like they're fine.
They know what we actually do, and it doesn't necessarily change our baseline survival, but it does change our comfort level with which we can exist in online spaces. And so it ends up being this kind of like very challenging, but still like it's just a distraction. It's a distraction. It feels very much like it's a time-wasting thing. It's a demoralizing thing, but it doesn't affect your day-to-day. But it's like noise outside, Belair added.
She's like a wordsmith, an absolute like she should be the next Eminem. She's so good at words.
The article concludes with them asking, what do you make of Hashimoto's implication that developers did not want to hire him after seeing Sweet Baby Inc. on his resume?
Yeah, they really just like looked at it and were like, all right, how about the fact that that's some BS and you're just making that up?
Resume. Well, that sounds pretty dang funny. And those developers are smart. Like, why would they want to hire anybody who's going to make their game worse? Hey, will you ruin our game for us? And on top of that, we'll pay you money to do it. Obviously, that would be a terrible decision. And at least more developers seem to be realizing that these sort of consultation firms are not going to help them. They'll do the inverse. They will hurt their games. So stay away, stay far away. Unless you want to be the next Dustborn or Concord, then by all means, go ahead and hire people like SBI or some other consultation firm similar to them. To end with something else funny, if you saw yesterday's video, do you remember I mentioned that Hashimoto wrote that article, Animal Crossing, New Horizons, and Japanese Colonialism?
Yeah, I remember that. He basically made an entire article saying that Animal Crossing is racist and it's all about taking over like a people. It's all about colonialism. It is so stupid. Bro was really getting upset over Animal Crossing.
Where Hashimoto's actually getting pressed about Animal Crossing of all things. Like,
That is the
imagine
stupidest thing
how
I've ever
weird
heard,
you have
bro.
to be to get offended at Animal Crossing.
Bro's
Well,
actually
Hashimoto
like
made an edit
I
on
feel
their own
like
article saying if you are
I feel like
legitimately
a lot of these people are genuinely sick, like mentally,
mad
potentially.
at the fact that this piece exists, understand that you do not need to take any of this information to heart. This was literally just a food for thought in the way that we engage with various systems and mechanics in video games. If you feel differently, that's totally cool, but maybe you'll learn something about Japanese history in the process. So I don't think most people are mad that the piece exists. They're laughing at it for existing. They're laughing about, as mentioned, how you got pressed, Hashimoto got pressed over Animal Crossing.
Yeah, nobody cares. I still buy Animal Crossing. Like, no one actually cares, and Nintendo doesn't even. I don't even think Nintendo's aware of that article existing. Like, it's a nothing burger article. I don't think anybody could honestly see it and take it seriously. It's just ridiculous. Uh, so it just feels like it feels like an echo chamber article, where it's really just meant for him and his friends to read, to watch.
However, believe it or not, Animal Crossing isn't the only game that Hashimoto's pressed about, because he had also written an article about Ghost of Tsushima. Back when that article came out, we can see a top comment about this that reads, "They spend a lot of time talking about Japanese nationalists and the Japanese far right in the article, and all of it to criticize Ghost of Tsushima for not acting as a tool for social critique of Japanese culture. It's a homage to Kurosawa."
Wow, yeah, no, they really, you could tell that these people really do not like Japanese culture. Like, I would go as far as to say that they actually hate Japanese culture so much that they want to reinvent it and make it their way.
Sawa films and a video game, and as long as it's fun, that's all it is and all it has to be. But of course, this is being approached from the perspective of all things being political. So anything that doesn't further the cause is itself a political statement and must be pointed out as such. This is Polygon, so what more can you expect? Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that part, my bad. Hashimoto had written this article for, yeah, Polygon. Shocker. That response saying, games need to be more political. No, not like that. And we'll end with this comment that says,
I don't think anybody has ever said the game should be more political. I mean, the moment politics go into a game, it gets boring. It gets real boring.
as the hilarity of Polygon trying their best.
And I don't
with
really
someone that
care
sounds
for your
Japanese
politics, bruh. I want to fight the monster and save the world. I don't really care about what your political opinion is.
enough for the drones to take their word. So incredibly transparent and
Like, when I fight a dragon, and the dragon's like breathing fire at me, I'm not concerned on whether or not the dragon's gonna vote for Trump or Biden, or I mean Kamala Harris. Like, it's not something you worry about. Like, I'm trying to think about what my next build in Skyrim is gonna be. I'm gonna do a necromancer. It's gonna be like a summoning wizard. But I'm like, not while I'm in the middle of like thinking about like, okay, it's gonna be a summoning wizard. That means I'm gonna have to add the fire atronach, the frost giant. I'm gonna have to get a dagger. That way I can like force myself to actually use the spells and like the summoning. You know what I mean? But then I gotta think about it, like, is my character gonna be Republican or is he gonna be Democrat? Like, is he like, does he believe like who does he want to bang at the end of the story? It's just things that I don't really concern myself with in the middle of a game.
pathetic. The reason I want to point that one out is because it's really similar actually to what we've just seen happen with Ubisoft's Assassin's Creed Shadows and that recent New York Times article that attempted to defend AC Shadows by citing Hashimoto. That's how these sort of manipulative corpos function. The good news
They literally just like cite, they give citations of their own like articles. This is the truth. Where's your evidence? The evidence is the paper that I wrote. Well,
Like
I mean,
pointed out in
that
many other
doesn't really.
segments, now in 2024,
What?
so many more people are
You can't
aware
be
of
your
this
own
stuff,
evidence,
and
fool.
they know better than to believe these journalists. And I'll leave it there. Thank you for tuning in. As always, if you enjoyed my coverage, please consider liking and or subscribing. Look forward to seeing you in the comments and in the next one.
No, we needed to talk.
Freaking insane, dude. Freaking insane.
Hey
And
guys,
to
we've got a very
prove that the reality of it all is the simple fact that yes, people in Japan are pissed off. That's why the next video we're about to react to. By the way, go please subscribe to Hero High, drop him a like. Dude's amazing, love his content. Let him know I sent you. Spread the love, baby. Only good, only positive comments, never anything negative. Thanks for hanging out. Like or dislike, comment, and subscribe, and become a Monodachi today. I live stream all day, Monday through Friday, so go say hi. That's all for now, Monos. Goodbye, and thanks for swinging by. Salut!